I took a whole bunch of pills and attempted suicide. Luckily, I lived. However, all of the trauma was still stored, all of the unhealed emotions during the not being able to really have an adult by my side to help me process a lot of the emotions that were going on. I lost my mom during this time. I lost both of my dogs. I was about to go bankrupt. This was the darkest, probably part of my life, my adult life.
Hello, spiritual friends, and welcome to another episode of Life Ascended, where we focus on our ascension and how can you reach your divine potential every single day. And I am so excited to bring in another beautiful guest. Oh my gosh, you are going to love her. Today we have Marsha Mahaffey, who is a holistic reprogramming subconscious mind specialist, life coach, healer, and founder of the I Love Me Center. She is a soul guide and heartfelt educator who walks with others as they remember who they truly are. Through her work, she helps people dissolve the unconscious patterns that keep them stuck so they can return to joy, reclaim their power, and live the dream life that their soul came here to create. So, welcome to the show, Marsha. Thank you so much for being here.
Cynthia, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here and be a part of this beautiful podcast to help awaken the collective.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was so excited to speak with you because you are, I consider one of my soul sisters already. And we've had some similar backgrounds in our energy healing and our energy healing training. And so I would really love to hear your story of how did you get started on this pathway? What happened to you that you turned into what you're doing right now?
So, my background started when I was about 15 years old. So, when I was about 15 years old, I had went through a really traumatic experience and I was really frantic. I didn't know how to handle all of the emotions and I was panicking. There wasn't really any adults around to really comfort me or support me. And so and just through not being able to handle all of the mass emotions, I took a whole bunch of pills and attempted suicide. And luckily, I lived. However, all of the trauma was still stored, all of the unhealed emotions during the not being able to really have an adult by my side to help me process a lot of the emotions that were going on. I was just storing it into my body. I think by the age of probably 15 or 16, I was already having these issues come out in my body where I lost all feeling in my right arm. I ended up having to have surgery at a young age on my knee. So at the time, I didn't really understand what was going on. And so I just continued to live my life through all of these unhealed emotions until I got to a point in my life where I was doing great things. I had the life, the dream life, everything that people would want. I had the 3D life with society looking out. I was happily married. I had a good job. I was really successful, but then something was really missing in me. So I really was trying all these different modalities to try to fill this void as I couldn't understand why I wasn't happy, why I didn't feel complete within. And so I kept on going through life. I just kept on avoiding all these little flags that were giving me information to look for what I call this like puzzle of awakening. And I got to a point to where I thought I had overcome that part of my life. And once again, I hit really hard rock bottom. I got into a relationship. I had put all of my worth into this relationship. I had put this person on a pedestal, and the relationship ended. And I felt really lost. I lost my mom during this time. I lost both of my dogs. I was about to go bankrupt. This was the darkest, probably part of my life, my adult life. And at this point, I realized that it was no longer about me looking outside for solutions. I needed to look inside. and I needed to do the healing within. So through the process, I started doing the healing and I wanted to go and I was really all in and I was looking on YouTube and reading all the books and doing all the things. And then I found this one YouTube channel that guided me to plant medicine to do ayahuasca. And so I went and I was manifesting and I was like, okay, there's this place that does ayahuasca and I could get a scholarship going. I can go to this place and I'm just going to try because I know I'm a powerful manifester. That's one thing that I have been able to do. And sure enough, within a month, I get the scholarship to go to Costa Rica to do plant medicine. I have this profound experience in the ceremony, but as soon as I woke up, it was everything in me that said, I'm here to spread the light. And I had to go. I wanted to go and move and do all the things. And I was so motivated. And it was more of like telepathic than it was somebody speaking to me. I just knew this is why I was here. And ever since that ceremony, I've been dedicated and motivated to do this work on myself and to help impact the collective consciousness for this great awakening.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story.
That's
Yeah.
the short version.
Yeah, I've heard multiple things about ayahuasca personally,
Yeah.
and I'm one of those that has not done any kind of substances. I've been on the pathway of just clear, like this, I would call it the slow pathway because I've been on it for about 25 years. But I do know some people who have done the ayahuasca, and if they do it carefully and if they do it in a ceremony with somebody who knows what they're
Yes.
doing, that is what I would definitely recommend. Don't just go to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I only did it once, and I felt like that's all I needed, but I definitely don't recommend it for everybody to
Mhm.
do because there are people that maybe not has had as good of experiences as I had, and they didn't know how to fully integrate it. Luckily, like I feel like that was the one thing my soul was just really calling me to do. And it was just a one time, like I'm like, okay, I went there, I saw, experience. And I don't really see that a lot for everybody where it
Mhm.
can become addictive and another band-aid and covering up. But I highly recommend that the person that is in the ceremony or the shaman has really good intentions, is living this very conscious lifestyle themselves because that matters when the medicine is being ingested as well. So
Yeah,
luckily I had
absolutely.
great shamans, great shamans. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the energy healing work that you do because it is something that I'm also trained in, which is interesting enough. And I've been on the, like I said, I've been on the energy healing path now for a really long time. And this particular modality that we're going to talk about today was one that literally just dropped in my lap. So I wasn't looking for it. I had already been doing reconnective healing is one that I do. And I had done Qigong for many years, but this one literally just showed up. And so it's interesting to see how it comes to certain people and not others.
Yeah.
And so I want to hear, first of all, what is it? And at least in your perspective, and let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with you. It does just fall in your lap. And if it's an energy type of healing that you can align with or relate to, I feel like it could be really powerful in the healing. And for me, I do use different modalities because I feel like anytime we're in it, we're doing energy, it's all channeled information anyway. But just to have the basic tools or a certain guideline, I feel like is very helpful. Specifically, what I love about Access Consciousness is that it gives you the tools of certain pressure points within the body that are connected to certain emotions where people normally get blocked. So I use Access Consciousness, light touch on certain points throughout the face that are connected to maybe where people may be blocked with maybe being stuck or not being creative or the confidence that they may have or the patience or if they're feeling like they're struggling to release a previous transition or death of some sort. And it gives you a pressure point of these certain meridians, or for example, in Chinese medicine, it would be like acupuncture, but without the needles. And so we just channel energy through a mantra that clears out. You feel the dense energy through your hands. And as that dense energy is being cleared out through a certain mantra that you're telepathically speaking, it lightens the energy and it allows people to feel way less heavy, calm, peace, more creative in their expansion. And most people feel lighter and they actually feel like they just got a full body massage because it's also releasing any blocks from any of the trauma within the body. And most people are just really happy. It's like a reset for the whole the mind and the body, I feel like, ultimately, with the access consciousness. And then on a deeper level, if there is something heavier within the field, then I go ahead and alchemize that as well so that they can fully be at peace and back to their soul, their true soul of themselves.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, yeah, I never thought about it kind of like the same as Qigong, but now that you mention it, that's exactly what Qigong is too. It's acupuncture without needles. So, this is
Oh,
another form of acupuncture without needles. How exciting!
I love it.
Yes, the body does have meridians or energy channels. A lot of people talk about the chakras, right? They talk about the energy, the circles, right? The points. But there's also the channels, the lines that run through the body and they connect to the different organs. And so there's one for each organ, major organ. And so I feel like the access consciousness is connecting to those organs and specifically working
Yeah.
through the emotional components of those organs. So that's just
Yeah, I
kind of
love
like how I like see it. I don't know if other
it.
people see it that way, but that's how I see it through my qigong training is
Mhm.
how that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So when you're touching those points and like you said, you're doing this clearing, it's that intention, right? Because we're bringing in our intention. And I
Yes.
love that you mentioned that because a lot of times, if we don't have an intention, then we don't, I don't know, it seems like sometimes things just don't happen the way that we're manifestors, right? We make things happen.
Are you ready to unlock your true potential and embrace a life filled with unconditional love and inner peace? Introducing the Diamond Heart Emotional Ascension Program, a transformative journey designed to help you heal deep emotional challenges and rediscover your authentic self. In just 3 months, you'll learn to identify emotional blocks from your very own hands that have been holding you back and release them vibrationally. Rewire limiting patterns with tools from higher dimensional realms. Activate your diamond heart, aligning with divine intelligence and embracing self-love. Guided by spiritual mentor Cynthia Clark, this course offers a pathway to emotional freedom and higher self-expression. Don't wait to start your journey toward profound inner peace. Visit ascension17.com/courses to enroll in the Diamond Heart program today. Your ascension begins with the heart. And now back to the episode.
So, what have you noticed after people do this process with you? What are some of the stories that you have heard from your clients? I want to hear some of these.
One of the most profound stories that still today, I just think it's amazing. I had a client that was contemplating suicide, and she was calling doctors, she was calling therapists, nobody was picking up the phone. Like, this was the day where she was at her heaviest and she needed the support. And somehow, through the universe, she stumbled across my website, found me. So, can I get in with you today? I didn't find out the story later of how intense it was. She wasn't telling me that she was contemplating, that she was she was an alcoholic. She was drinking every single day. She didn't know why she was living. She couldn't stop drinking, and she was just really frustrated. So, not knowing the story until later, she comes into the office. I get her in the same day, and we do a session, and the session was pretty intense. I could feel how heavy it was and what she was going through. But aside from the access consciousness, what I was aware of is that there was a gentleman that was in her aura. And it felt like he might have been lost, like he needed to find his way home. And so that's a little bit of what I do in the healing journey as well, is allow people to see the light again if they get lost, or they maybe want to attach to a certain person. Doesn't mean that they're bad per se, it just means that they're lost on the journey. And I offered him a light back home so he can disconnect from her. I still did all of the pressure points on her, clearing out all of her energy field. And when she came to, she's like, "Wow, I feel so amazing." And she said, "I don't know why I was seeing a man in khaki pants. It was so weird. It was a man I didn't even know, but I was seeing him in my vision, the same man that I saw, he was seeing." And after that day, she stopped cold turkey drinking. So
Wow.
it was so impactful to be able to reconnect people with source, with divine, bringing that energy in. So that's not something that normally happens in sessions, but that's one that stuck out to me. And I wasn't quite sure even if I was doing everything correctly, because I hadn't really had a lot of experiences like that. But obviously it worked, and I was being guided, and I was the channel and vessel. And this beautiful soul is free today, and she's living an amazing life. So it was really rewarding to have that experience.
Yeah, that's exciting to talk about because, yeah, I've had clients over the years who have had entities, and
Yeah.
it's a real thing. For those of you out there who maybe don't believe in this, I've talked to way too many people to not believe in attached entities. And you're right, they're just like lost souls, and sometimes they will attach their energy field to a human host who is, especially if they're suicidal, that's the easiest time for them to do that, because your boundaries are so low that you're actually connecting with the lower astral realms. And so those beings who are still trapped in those realms, they immediately latch on, and it's very easy for them to do so because you're not saying no to them, right? Because it's our free will that really says, no, I do not allow this. I only allow the higher dimensional realms to communicate with me. That's really where I've been over the last several years, but I've certainly talked to people who have had these entities, and it's a real thing, and it can be extremely difficult to get rid of them if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not even aware that they're there, which I think is the biggest problem. Is they don't even know that
Yeah.
they have entities attached to them.
Yeah, and exactly. And can you imagine if she would have just went to a regular therapist or somebody like this, they would have just been talking her in circles for so
Exactly.
long, not really understanding.
Mhm.
So she obviously had some higher guidance,
Yeah.
definitely guiding her. I want to say her dad passed away a couple months before that too. So
Mm.
I'm like, okay, she had an angel watching over her and guiding her. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely fascinating and interesting. And I think that's why it's so important to really just take care of yourself in a way that keeps your energy on a daily practice, not to scare people and bring fear into them, but the more that they're connecting into the light and they're able to connect to whatever they believe, whether it's God, universe, source, but some type of higher power in a daily practice. So there isn't even a chance of that energy being able to latch on to you because it's not familiar with that frequency.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's where I was going too, is yeah, you're so right. As you start doing the healing, as you start transforming, and as your energy and your vibration starts to rise,
Yeah.
you are suddenly not going to be accessible to these lower astral entities. They're just simply not going to be around. They're not going to be able to come near you. And especially if you're conscious about it and you just put up that boundary. For example, I just invited Archangel Michael to live in my house with me. And I did this a long time ago because I was like, I might as well just invite him in. And he's my protector because he did save me one time from a car accident. And wrote about it actually in my book, but it was amazing, and it was so real. And so it's like we can call on these higher angelic beings to protect us, to guide us, to support us. And the same goes with when we go into a healing session. So I love that you're already open to that and channeling that, because you can bring in some amazing transformation for people through this particular modality. It's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about some of the reasons why people would seek this particular modality out. Why do most people come to you, or do they even know why? That's that's always something I'm curious about.
Most people do not know why, because the other aspect of what I do with the subconscious mind is that they're acting, thinking, and doing things, and they don't understand why they're doing it because there's repeated patterns in the subconscious mind. So by the time they get to me, they're like, I feel distraught. I know that I'm not happy. I'm sad. I don't like this feeling. I can't stop crying, or one way or another. But usually they've tried a lot of other things and they feel pretty desperate. Like I've had people that are super spiritual come to me, but I've had a lot of people, you wouldn't believe that I've had religious people come to me, and people that even that haven't really believed it, but they've been so desperate that they want to try it. And the belief system is a big part of the healing process. So I do try to educate them enough in the beliefs that if they're already there, there has to be some type of belief or hope that this is gonna influence them or help them in one way or another. So ideally, I'm just bringing people back to their soul and doing my best to clear all of the collective programs, the generational programs that have been passed down, that have been limiting, that no longer serve in this great awakening, this new earth that we're creating. And so it's just resetting them. And so I feel like it's their soul that knows and guides them before it's their mind. Like their mind has no idea. And I trust that I could be the divine channel and vessel, and that the people that are ready for this unique modality and channel of my guides coming through me as well, like they find me. No, they don't always know, but they do know that something is wrong. They don't like, yeah.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable in some
Yeah,
capacity,
yes.
like they're depressed, or yeah, their life isn't where they want it to be, or they might have a physical discomfort, probably. Maybe they get
Yes.
headaches, or they have something that's nagging at them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense. So let's talk a little bit about some of these patterns that you feel are the most troublesome. So looking at your center name, I love me center. I want to talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
So why do people need to love themselves? What is the core behind that?
Yeah, I love this question, and I really love the way that you presented it, because the core of people loving themselves is they've been so subconsciously blind to knowing that they don't. So
Hmm.
they literally do not know that they don't love themselves. So it's challenging for them to seek, oh, I want to love myself. So there has to be clear evidence on why somebody doesn't love themselves. And mainly the reason people don't love themselves is because they've somewhere in their life, usually from childhood, they've created some type of belief about themselves. Either it was as extreme as something I went through with major trauma, or it's something as small as mom and dad forgot to pick me up from school. And now I created a subconscious belief that's telling me that I'm not important. And I've been playing out this story, I'm not important, for my whole adult career, where it's reflecting in people cheating on me and breakups and getting fired from jobs and all of the things that are in this repeat. So now they have all of this evidence that they're not important. They're not, but they can't. If I were to say, hey, are you important? Yeah, I'm important. Of course I'm important. But there's just all this evidence. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's look back. But the subconscious knows. The
Mhm.
subconscious knows. The conscious mind is, no, I don't see that. The importance of my job is, in my mission, is to bring this to people's light. And I noticed when I was just in the I Love Me Center, I wasn't getting that many people to really migrate my way, because it wasn't resonating, because there's a blind spot in there. And
Exactly.
I know that blind spot because I was in the blind spot. Oh, I
Mhm.
love myself on social media, posting all of the things of confident women and all of it. all of
Yeah,
it. Should I,
sure.
looking back now? No.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Well,
this
and
is
I was
important.
going to say, this brings up an important point in the blind spot aspect because I get a lot of people who I talk to as well, or who I meet on the street. Let's just say I'm out and about in
Yeah.
Sedona. And a lot of these people think, oh no, I've worked on myself. Oh no, I've already solved that problem. And just to give an example, I'll give an extreme example actually, because it's, to me, it's, I look back on it now and it was like so blaringly obvious, but not to her.
Yeah.
So it was a lady who came to me. She was gifted with a certificate to get a hand reading from me. Okay, so this was quite a long time ago. And so she came in and she had just had surgery on her liver. She had 70% of her liver removed. Okay. And so, me with my Qigong background and my knowledge of the organs, I'm like, oh, so what anger have you been holding on to that you feel is now healed? Because you had your liver cut out, and the
Yeah.
liver, it's liver season in the springtime, and it's associated with anger, right? So she was like, oh no, I've healed all of my anger issues.
Mm.
She
Yes.
literally thought, first of all, I don't have any anger issues. And how can you even say that I have anger issues? You don't even know me. And then,
Yeah.
and it was like, you just told me you had your liver 70% removed. Obviously, there's some anger somewhere
Mhm.
there. And so then we did the
Yeah.
reading, and she actually got mad at me, like during the reading, which almost never happens. And I'm just thinking, gosh, I
Yeah.
really triggered her.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. But it's like people think that they have healed something, and it's maybe you've healed a certain level of it or a certain layer. But there's like you're an infinite being of light. You probably have more than one layer of a certain
Mm.
issue.
Mhm.
So would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly why I love the work that I do because emotions don't lie. And emotions are a reflection of the subconscious mind. So the subconscious is all of your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions are stored in the subconscious mind. So how do you know if you're actually triggered? How do you actually know you're healed from something? You won't be emotionally charged. So if she was fully actually not in that if she because people will say, oh, I forgave them because they're avoiding it, which is
Uh-huh.
different than saying, okay, have we alchemized the energy, have we transformed the energy? And because energy is not created or destroyed, just like in an energy session, it's the same thing with your thoughts and your emotions. So we have to have another perspective. We have to find the soul lesson. We have to feel grateful for the situation. And then when she's sitting in your office in front of you, you say that, then it's no emotionally charged, not emotionally charged anymore. Then she's fully healed. Oh, you really did the work. You may have done the first layer, like you said, beautifully, like you've done the first layer, but you got to keep on peeling the onion. There's more there for you to not be emotionally charged anymore. And that's where you're internally free. This can't bother you within.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very well put.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. And that's also why people would want to come and do access consciousness more than once. And it's
Mhm.
not like a one and done sort of a thing. You have different layers, and as you heal those layers, you're going to move even higher and
Mhm.
higher and higher. And that's really what ascension, right? That's what
Yeah.
ascension is. We keep raising that bar, raising that
Yeah.
vibration. And it's a lifetime commitment. It's a life path.
Mhm.
And I love that people could incorporate this as part of that life path and part of that progression.
Mhm.
And every session, you get something different out of it.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have people that you've been working with for a long period of time, and have you seen that progression?
Absolutely. I personally, because, and I love the way that you describe that because it is different. Every healing session is different. There might be different guides that come in. There might be I've never had the same experience. One day you might come in and after your first session, you might see beautiful colors and have all these tinglies and your body's just doing different things. And the next time you're like, oh, that was a little heavy. I'm going to have to rest for 2 days for all of the detoxing that I just went through. So I did have, when I first started, I had one client that was pretty consistent for about a year and she had great results. Her patience level just completely went down. She's running a very fast-paced business and she couldn't really find the relief. And she's doing great now. She only comes to me every once in a while for a touch-up. However, for me, because this is more than just the paycheck for me, it's like really about the transformation. It's important for me to give them the education if I feel like there's somewhere that specifically there's a block and it's happening because of their thoughts, then let's clear that out so you can feel relief and reset. But we still, just like your client with the liver, it's like we still have to go in a little bit deeper and to prevent. So preventative medicine with the coaching incorporated with the access consciousness, because I don't want them to be fully dependent on me, but I want them to know that they do have a resource. And my goal is to teach them how to use their own vessel and channel to their fullest expansion. Because like you said, we're ascending, we're here, we're infinite beings. It never stops. Even when we transition, we're still ascending. We're always descending. And it's important here in the 3D reality that we have tools and we have so many powerful people, leaders like yourself and other educators that are here in just so many huge groups that have the same mission and intention to support people so we can all rise together collectively so that when people reincarnate here, it doesn't have to be so severe as it has been, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and I love the topic that you brought up in the personal responsibility realm, because you're right. A lot of people come to energy healers or just shamans or any of these types of practitioners, and they think that they're going to fix them, right? It's, oh, you're going to fix me, you're going to heal me, you're going to save me. And that is, I think, a really bad way to look at things, because it's like you need to take personal responsibility for your co-creations. We're all creators, and on some level, you created this problem, right? It's like the liver and the anger. It's like there's a reason why you're angry. But the whole point is, when you go to a practitioner such as yourself, to go in with the attitude of, yes, this person is helping me and this person is opening up a clearing, right? A clearing in my meridian channel that is blocked. But that doesn't mean that you don't do your own work. That means that she's opening the door for you so that you can do the work, so that you can see what it is that you why was it created in the first place? And if we can go in as clients, right? Because trust me, we all need healers. Every single one of us, myself included. I've been going to different healers over many years. And I never, ever go in with the idea that I already know everything. Yeah. Like that is pretty silly to think that, right? So we all need each other, and we need these healing modalities, and we need to also take responsibility for our own lives and our own pathways, and look at it as an opportunity of, hey, I'm going to open this up today. I'm going to be on some level, I'm going to get a healing, and it's going to help me to really see my next steps or see what I need to do next. And I think if everybody did that, it would be so much better, just to really accelerate, because this is what we're talking about, is accelerated growth, accelerated ascension. Don't stop giving away all of your power to others. That's why I get frustrated with the whole guru concept.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, be a guru. They still are ascending themselves, otherwise they wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. It's another collective program that takes away your internal power so we can be controlled. And so the more it doesn't matter if it's a yogi or a guru, or if it's something in the government, right? It's all
Exactly.
still saying, worship me. This is the way. And so then
Mhm.
we feel powerless. And so that's another, I'm so glad that you brought that up because that's exactly why it's so important to me. I've had somebody call me that before and I said, no, I'm not. Please don't call me that. And thank you. I know your intentions are well, but I'm teaching you how to be your own girl. You're going to be
Mhm.
your own.
Yeah.
And in this way, you don't have to listen to everything I say. Please be discerning because you may agree with 90% of the things that I say, but it doesn't mean you have to agree with 100. Be very discerning in even the language that I am and what I'm saying, because I want you to feel what in your soul and your body feels right to you. Because maybe I'm in a learning journey of, I know 10 years ago, the way I looked at things is completely different. So
Mhm.
trust your own unique vessel for where you're at because we're all in different soul paths. Everybody has a different soul lesson, a soul contract that they came here to ascend from. And none of us know what that is. So trust your own vessel and guidance is like the biggest and I think most powerful thing that people can take away once they begin to understand their true power.
Exactly. Yeah, I do actually read fingerprints as the soul imprint. So I would maybe argue a little bit that we can't tell what it is,
Oh,
because that is something that I do.
well, now we see, what did I say? That's exactly what I just said.
I do agree with 90% of what you just said.
There we go. You see, and I'm learning and growing too, right? And it's okay
Mhm.
it's okay to not know something and to keep on growing. And now I'm so
Absolutely.
interested because I think that's fascinating and exciting.
Yes. Yes, the soul imprint is in your fingerprints, and you can read the soul map through the fingerprints. So that's
Oh,
actually one of my specialties.
yeah, interesting. We'll have to talk more about that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so to me, the combination of, yeah, bringing in the energy healing with the soul map that's the gold
Yeah,
to me, because
it
it's
has to be.
bringing the
Yeah,
consciousness in with the subconscious, with the soul, all layers together.
beautiful.
And but it's everybody's got their own path. You're right about that.
Yeah.
And we're all at different stages in it too. Wherever whoever's listening right now, for example,
Yeah.
just recognize that your path is important and you can heal from anything, and you don't have to stay stuck in whatever challenges you were in. It may take a little bit of work, and it may take some practitioners to assist you. Don't feel like you're alone. And ultimately, I think that's where especially some of the healer types are
Mhm.
like, no, I can figure this out on my own, or I have to do it myself. For,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
for crying out loud, just let somebody help you. Stop,
Exactly.
stop being so darn proud that you
Yeah,
can't actually get some help. And that again goes back to the self-love. So
exactly. Yeah.
I love everything about what you're talking about, and it's so important, the work that you're doing. So I really value and appreciate you. And I want to also know if do you do sessions remotely, or how do people work with you?
Well, access consciousness can only be done in office, and I just opened up some programs for people out of town if they want to fly in and do a whole coaching program incorporating the access consciousness for the full, very invested person experience. I have an office locally here in San Antonio, Texas, and then I also have some clients all over the world that I connect with one-on-one online, either
Beautiful.
or. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what is your website so everybody can go visit you?
Yeah, thank you for that. It's ilovemecenter.com.
Okay, that's super easy. I love that.
It's super easy.
Yeah, such a great website. Oh my gosh,
Thank
that was
you.
genius.
Thank you. It just came through.
I'm sure it did. All right, so is there anything else that you want to mention before we wrap up that we have not talked about?
No, I really enjoyed the questions and the conversation. I feel that it's going to be super impactful, and the right ears will definitely migrate to the information for when their soul is ready to hear all of these great golden nuggets. It's been such an honor to share. and go back and forth with your wisdom and impact, and just to be in this co-creation together with you. So thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed this. It was really fun. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Marsha. It's been a pleasure having you on. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please follow and share this podcast so we can grow it to be even bigger and better than ever. Let us know what kind of topics you want us to include. We do welcome your comments and your thoughts and your heart energy. Please go find Marsha and seek out her wisdom. And we really just appreciate you being here, because even just watching episodes like this helps to elevate the collective consciousness. So you are contributing just by being here. So thank you for that. And we are all ascending together. So until next time, have a beautiful day, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Life Ascended, where you can discover your divine potential every day. Please show your support by tuning in, following, sharing your comments, and inviting others to listen. Take it further by visiting ascension17.com for deeper spiritual growth, guidance, programs, and products.